Sufficiently Analyzed Magic, Inverse Shadows, Book 2, Summary by Christopher G. Nuttall. Introduction. Christopher G. Nuttall. Sufficiently Analyzed Magic continues the Inverse Shadows series, which explores the intersection of science and magic. Following the events of sufficiently advanced technology, this book further develops the conflicts between the Human Confederation, highly technological spacefaring civilization, and the inhabitants of Darius' lost human colony where magic is real and deeply ingrained in society. The novel examines Confederation's attempts to analyze and control magic using scientific methods, their struggles to integrate this newfound power, and the cultural and political ramifications of their presence on Darius. As the Confederation digs deeper into the mysteries of magic, they face unexpected dangers, ethical dilemmas, and growing resistance from Darius's magical elite. Setting and background. Darius, the central planet in the story, was originally a lost human colony rediscovered by the Confederation. Unlike the rest of humanity, which has progressed through technological advancements, the people of Darius evolved with magic as the dominant force. Wizards, sorcerers, and mystical traditions shaped the world with magical power determining social status and governance. The arrival of the Confederation with its superior weapons, starships, and artificial intelligence disrupts the status quo. While some on Darius see the Confederation as an opportunity for advancement, many view them as a threat to the natural order of magic. At the same time, the Confederation, despite its technological might, finds itself at a disadvantage. Magic defies the laws of physics, making it difficult to analyze, replicate, or control. Plot summary. Scientific inquiry into magic. The Confederation launches a full-scale investigation into magic, convinced that it can be understood, categorized, and ultimately harnessed as a new form of energy. Scientists and analysts set up research stations, conducting experiments on spells, enchantments, and magical artifacts. Dr. Edward Stalker, a leading researcher, spearheads efforts to break down magic into scientific principles. He operates under the assumption that all magic follows rules, even if those rules are not yet known. Using advanced sensors, AI-driven simulations, and nanotechnology, his team attempts to measure and replicate spells with mixed results. One breakthrough discovery suggests that magic may not be an independent energy source, but rather an interaction between consciousness and the physical world. This revelation challenges the Confederation's foundational scientific beliefs, raising troubling questions about the nature of reality itself. Political tensions and resistance. As research progresses, tensions between the Confederation and Darius's ruling class escalate. Many of Darius's most powerful mates, led by Archmage Lysander, see the Confederation as threat. To them, magic is not something to be dissected and analyzed, but living force that must be respected. At the same time, factions within the Confederation's leadership debate the ethical implications of their experiments. General Hugo Benamir argues that magic could give the Confederation an unbeatable advantage in interstellar conflicts, while diplomatic officers warn that their actions might provoke war. Matters are further complicated by Jasmine Yamain, Darius-born mage with ties to both sides. She sympathizes with the Confederation's scientific curiosity, but understands the dangers of tampering with forces beyond human comprehension. Torn between loyalties, she works to mediate between the two groups, but her warnings are largely ignored. The dark side of magic. As the Confederation pushes forward with its experiments, they uncover troubling anomalies. Spells behave unpredictably under scientific observation, and attempts to replicate magical effects artificially result in unintended consequences. A particularly disastrous experiment leads to the containment breach, releasing an uncontrolled surge of magical energy that devastates a research facility. Further investigation into ancient on Darius reveals that an advanced civilization once existed, one that successfully combined magic and technology. However, this civilization mysteriously vanished, leaving behind warnings in forgotten texts. The Confederation's researchers realized that magic might not be just tool or an energy source. It could be sentient or semi-conscious force that reacts to attempts to manipulate it. Meanwhile, resistance from Darius's magical community escalates into open conflict. Mages begin sabotaging Confederation installations, and rogue faction, fearing what the Confederation might unleashes forbidden ritual to sever the planet from technological interference. The climax, magic versus science. The Confederation attempts one final experiment, using quantum computing and AI to predict and control magical outcomes. That conducted in heavily shielded research facility is meant to prove once and for all that magic can be broken down into logical patterns. However, the results are catastrophic. Instead of gaining control over magic, the Confederation inadvertently awakens something ancient and powerful, an entity or a force that had been dormant for centuries. The experiment shatters the boundaries between magic and science, causing an uncontrolled reality distortion that threatens to engulf an entire city. Archmage Lysander and Jasmine Yemaine, despite their distrust of the Confederation, are forced to work alongside Octor Stalker to contain the disaster. The event serves as turning point, proving that neither side fully understands magic's true nature. Themes and Analysis 1. Science versus Magic at its core. The novel explores the conflict between empirical knowledge and mystical forces. The Confederation represents the belief that everything can be explained through science, while the people of Darius embody the idea that some forces are beyond human comprehension. The book challenges the reader to consider whether science and magic are two sides of the same coin or fundamentally incompatible. 2. Hubris of technological civilizations. The Confederation, despite its technological advancements, is arrogant in its assumption that it can master magic through logic and reason. Their failure to recognize its dangers mirrors real-world historical instances of colonialism, where technologically superior civilizations underestimated the complexities of the cultures they sought to dominate. 3. The ethics of discovery. The novel raises ethical questions about scientific progress. Just because something can be studied and controlled, does that mean it should? The Confederation's relentless pursuit of knowledge nearly leads to disaster, forcing them to reconsider their approach. 4. The limits of human understanding. Throughout the book, characters struggle with the idea that some truths may be unknowable. The novel suggests that magic is not just a system of energy manipulation, but an integral part of existence itself, something that cannot be fully understood through scientific analysis alone. Conclusion. Sufficiently Analyzed Magic is a gripping continuation of the Inverse Shadows series, deepening the themes introduced in the first book while escalating the stakes. By the end of the novel, both the Confederation and the people of Darius are forced to confront an unsettling truth. Science and magic are not merely different ways of understanding the world. They might be aspects of something far more complex and dangerous than either side ever imagined. The book closes. The Confederation is left to reassess its mission on Darius. With an ancient magical force now awakened, the planet's factions teetering on the brink of war, the next installment promises even greater revelations and conflicts.